How long until Manchester United are competing for the Premier League title again? Well, despite clear improvements under Erik Ten Hag, the best estimate is probably 2 years, if all goes well, possibly 3. But if that is the case, then they could have a bit of a problem, and that is the age profile of the current squad. Well, firstly, let's show our working. Currently, Manchester City and Arsenal, who are comfortably the 2 best teams in the Premier League, are around 15 points ahead of Manchester United in the table. Given the respective form of those 2 sides, that gap is only likely to increase before the end of the 22-23 season. United have also scored some 30 goals fewer than both teams and conceded around 10 more. And together, these statistics describe a gap between United and the top of the table that is unlikely to close within a single year. So that's the basis for the 2 or 3 year estimate, and in this instance, fears over United's squad demographics. Now, this was a conversation that happened recently on the Devils in the Details podcast, hosted by Aaron Moniz and Kees van Hemmen, and you can find a link to the show in the comments below. Kees and Aaron made a point worth investigating. Manchester United have fielded a starting 11 this season with an average age of 26 years and 5 months, which is only the 11th youngest in the Premier League. But the ages of some of United's key players is perhaps more of a troubling issue. Bruno Fernandes is 28, Casemiro is 31, Rafael Varane is 29, Christian Eriksen is 31, David De Gea is 32, Luke Shaw is 27, Victor Lindelof is 28, and Harry Maguire, who makes this list regardless of the current caveats, is 30. All of them would be considered important performers, most of them have been vital, and each of them is also currently within their prime. But if United are to wait 2 or 3 years to become competitive for the title, then it seems unlikely, given the respective ages of those players, that many among that list would still be week-to-week starters. Of course, Erik Ten Hag does have younger players at his disposal, and plenty who are still improving. Lisandro Martinez's best years are ahead. Antony, Jadon Sancho, Thuram Malacia are all 23, and Alejandro Garnacho is still just a teenager. In 3 years, those players are likely to be approaching their best rather than be beyond it. But the extent of the issue can be seen in comparison with the clubs United will likely contend with over the coming seasons and the respective situations that they find themselves in. At Arsenal, for instance, Mikel Arteta has selected a starting 11 this season with an average age of 24 years and 4 months, the joint lowest in the league. Of the players who would currently be considered starters at the club, only Granit Xhaka and Thomas Partey are over the age of 26. Bukayo Saka, Gabriel Jesus, Gabriel Martinelli, William Saliba, Gabriel, Aaron Ramsdale and Ben White are all vital already and only likely to improve. So too are Martin Ødegaard, Alexander Zinchenko and Takehiro Tomiyasu. Manchester City's situation isn't quite as healthy. Actually, their average starting lineup in the Premier League is 2 months older than United, but there's greater quality in the younger parts of their squad. Kevin De Bruyne, John Stones, Ilkay Gundogan, Riyad Mahrez and Jack Grealish are all unlikely to be producing at the same level in 3 years as they are now. And yet, in comparison to the situation at Old Trafford, a nucleus of very strong, very young players is already in place and already reliably producing alongside mid-career first-teamers. But of course, regardless of all of that, the main factor is, at both Arsenal and Manchester City, the squads are already good enough to challenge for the league, and in City's case, Europe too. Manchester United are not quite there yet. And it's also unclear how they would perform during a season with a stronger Chelsea or Liverpool, both of whom are enduring miserable campaigns currently. Nevertheless, as an immediate priority, they would likely need a new central midfielder and right back in the summer transfer window, and probably a centre forward also, and that will all come at considerable expense. On top of which, over the course of the next few years, as many as 7 first-teamers will have to be replaced within a short period of time. The cost is one concern, but the team chemistry is another, as is the ability to manage such a process. Casemiro and Bruno Fernandes have been crucial to United's revival. Eriksen, Shaw and Varane have all come to assume great importance also. These players have formed the backbone of this recent period and represent whole departments of the Manchester United side. And that issue is exacerbated by the fact that dependable backup players like Maguire and Lindelof, and to an extent Anthony Martial, also fit into the older demographic at the club and will need to be replaced or upgraded at around the same time. Which is to say nothing of the fact that the players still short of their prime, Antony, Sancho, Malacia, Dalot, Garnacho and Elanga, are yet to conclusively prove that they belong at the top level of the game. not in the same way that, for instance, Erling Haaland, Phil Foden and Rodri have, or Ødegaard, Saka and Martinelli are currently doing. Not factored in here are, of course, the unpredictable elements. Youth players who emerge from nowhere, rapid development of previously unheralded players and unexpected longevity of existing starters. It's perfectly possible, for instance, that Casemiro, despite already being 31, is able to play well into his 30s and to a very high standard. But Manchester United not only face the prospect of having to replace 10 players over the course of the next 2 to 3 years, but 10 excellent players, with 10 transfers at a success rate of something approaching 100%. It will have to be an exceptionally well-handled process if major trophies are to be found in their near future. If that's not the case, then 2 or 3 years might be an optimistic timeline for the club to return to proper contention. Even then, however, it's likely to be with a wholly different backbone to the one that the side currently depends on. If you like this video, please consider subscribing to the channel. The Athletic is home to some of the world's best sports journalists, including journalists dedicated to each Premier League team, so every fan gets the coverage they deserve, not just the big clubs. And you can try it for free now for 30 days. See the link in the description.